Bremerton in 2026 is going to feel a lot different, and not because of one mega project that's happening, but because of lots of little mini projects to improve functionality and lifestyle and ergonomics of living. If you live here now or you're planning to move here in 2026, you're going to want to plan your day-to-day and your weekends around these events and these projects so you're not caught off guard. And that's why in this video, I'm breaking down what's actually new or changing in 2026, the projects that sound boring but actually matter a lot, and the 2026 calendar so that you're not surprised by crowds, closed streets, especially if you live downtown. Hi, I'm Cassandra. I help people buy and sell real estate all over Bremerton and Kitsap County, and my job is to help you find a home and a neighborhood that actually fit how you live and not just choose the home for how it looks online. Okay, so let's start with what is actually new or changing in 2026 in Bremerton and in Kitsap County. So Quincy Square is a new addition to downtown Bremerton, the newest in fact, named after Quincy Jones. And it is 4th Street in between Washington and Pacific. It's really cool. If you've ever been down there, you may have seen the beautiful colored mural on the side of the parking garage, all of the beautiful artwork, and they actually close the street to traffic on the weekends. So it's pedestrian only on the weekends, which makes it an ideal spot for gatherings and festivals and this sort of thing on a weekend by weekend basis. It really goes along with this community feel that the city of Bremerton and the Downtown Bremerton Association are trying to accomplish with outdoor events, walkability. Obviously, it's proximal to the ferry, so it's going to get a lot of foot traffic. Even if people aren't attending said event, a lot of people are going to notice it. A lot of the establishments, like the dining and bar establishments, have outdoor seating so people can enjoy the sidewalk and just people watch. So a couple of things that are already on the Quincy Square calendar for this spring, summer, and fall. May 23rd of 2026, we are going to have the Bremerton Author Fest. So this is going to be an opportunity for local authors who are from Kitsap County or write about Kitsap County, which is usually the same thing, are going to be present for whatever you imagine an author might be present for. So like a book signing or a tour or something like that. But of course they live locally, so they're not coming from far, they're not traveling far. But it's a really great opportunity because we do have some really great local authors from Bremerton and from Kitsap County that sell their books nationally that other people around the country are reading. So it kind of gives a little glimpse into our little corner of the world, which I feel like is probably one of the best kept secrets. June 21st is hosting the Bremerton Beer Festival. So we have a ton of microbreweries around here. We don't have the most microbreweries per capita. I think Bend, Oregon holds that title, but we do have a lot. And so a lot of the local breweries are going to be on hand with their local wares or sampling and purchase. And it's going to go well into the night with an after party already scheduled. So if you intend on attending that event, clear your calendar for the entire day. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you are a soccer fan, you may know that the World Cup is in the United States and Canada for 2026, and it's going to make its stop right here in Western Washington. Seattle at Lumen Field is hosting 6 of the games, and they're already on the calendar, 4 dates in June, 2 in July. And Bremerton and Quincy Square in particular has been designated as an official fan zone for the FIFA World Cup. Quincy Square, being a fan zone, is actually hosting the games. They're going to have a huge projection screen. There's going to be beer gardens and vendors and all kinds of fun things. So if you can't attend the game or you don't want to be in Seattle for all of that craziness, because it's going to be crazy, you can attend one of the fan zone broadcasts in Quincy Square downtown. So the city of Seattle is projecting influx between 750,000 to 1 million people in the city for those 6 games, and estimating almost $1 billion in economic revenue because of the games. So what that means for Seattle, it's going to get really full really fast, and people need to stay somewhere, and all the hotels are going to fill up. So they're going to spill over into the outlying areas. And you may have seen campaigns already that say Stay Kitsap 2026. So people are going to ferry over here to Bremerton, stay in Bremerton and Kitsap County. So what does that mean for us locals? So we just need to be prepared for a lot more traffic, probably foot traffic. I can't imagine people are going to be renting cars for this, because from the Seattle ferry terminal on the Seattle side, Lumen Field is about a 10-minute walk. So you really don't need a car. So if you are planning on coming to this area for that particular event, you don't need a car. Additionally, the Washington State Ferry Lifestyle, they're actually testing free Wi-Fi on the state ferries, which sounds like a snooze fest, because like, why don't they already have free Wi-Fi like everywhere else? I know they don't consult me in the design phase, but this is what they're doing. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully it's not a bank breaker for the ferry system to offer Wi-Fi to its riders, but there it is. One of the major infrastructure projects planned for this summer is on State Route 303, also called Warren Avenue. This is between Sheridan Road and Rydell. It's probably less than a mile from Sheridan to Rydell, and it's got 5 intersections with 5 stoplights. It's got a Kitsap Transit bus transit center, tons of new businesses, tons of revitalized areas right in that little 5-block section, but just outlying those businesses are tons of residential neighborhoods. So it's a very congested part of town. Traffic backs up there like crazy. And the project is called the Adaptive Signals Project. So as you can imagine, this has probably got to do with programming the stoplights to allow for a smoother flow of traffic, to prioritize buses and emergency vehicles and this sort of thing. What this means for your commute is that if you travel along this section of 303 between Rydell and Sheridan, then you can expect big traffic delays. You can expect to, be rerouted in this sort of thing. The good news is that in the outlying streets, like just off of 303 parallel to it, are plenty of alternative routes that you can take through neighborhoods and stuff. So you're not going to be totally stuck. There's ways around it. It's just good to know so you can plan around, especially if you work in these blocks as well. There are many more infrastructure projects scheduled for this summer, probably starting late spring, like May time seems to be the time when all these projects are starting. And they're going to include improvements to public works and utilities, treatment plants, public parks, all of which need to be done, all of which are going to improve, everyone's use of all of these things. It just means that oftentimes these projects entail digging up a road somewhere. So some road somewhere is going to be closed at some point. There is a website you can access on Kitsap County's site, which actually gives you the week ahead's schedule for road maintenance and road construction. So if your job relies heavily on travel, say you're a delivery person or you're a mobile notary or something like that, and you just are in your car all the time like real estate agents, you need to know whether your route is going to be blocked or not. So access that site, check out the projects coming up if that is something that's important to you, because there's a lot of stuff coming up this year. If you're not from here, you probably are having a hard time picturing of where I'm talking about. So that's okay, because you don't know what you don't know. Here's what you can do though. You can hop into the first line in the description there and download my relocation guide for Kitsap County. And this will show you kind of where neighborhoods are, and you can learn a little bit more about our neighborhoods, our areas, and Kitsap County in general. Let's talk about other things that are new and changing in 2026, and that's going to be the new construction boom going on in Kitsap County right now. In Bremerton, we have several new construction developments, one of which is Sinclair Ridge. It's a Century Communities development. It's got a Bremerton address, but you actually have to go through Port Orchard a little bit to get there. It is in the McCormick Village portion of the new McCormick Master Plan community, which is thousands of homes. It's in 4th and 5th and 6th phases in some parts by different builders and this and that, but it's slated to go on for another several years. So there's going to be construction going on there for some time. And Sinclair Ridge specifically just started phase 2 in McCormick Village. So there's quite a few different homes, home plans, price ranges, all that sort of stuff to choose from. Sinclair Ridge specifically is the only one in all of these that has a Bremerton address and is on Bremerton utilities. All the rest are on City of Port Orchard. Century Communities also has development that they're finishing up in Poulsbo called Liberty Bay View, and that should be done by the end of summer, like August timeframe. So if you're looking for that style of home, but just in a different location, let's go check out Liberty Bay View in Poulsbo. That might be a good alternative for you as well. Another community, similar build, quality and price range is going to be the Shadowhawk community, and that's up in the area of Tracytown. This is by a builder named MTT, and they're just a local builder. They build kind of just around Puget Sound area, whereas Century Communities is a nationwide builder. Shadowhawk is just about done with their first phase, and they should be done late spring, early summer of this year. And their homes are kind of in the mid 500s, like 500 to 600, kind of in there. And then the next phase they're going to do, they own the lot next door. I think it's 8 acres. They still need to clear it and all of that stuff, unfortunately. There's another community in East Bremerton that is done, and it is a very tiny townhouse condo community called the Narrows at Clare. This is literally right off of 303 and Clare Avenue in Bremerton, and you can't miss it. It's very tall. They have panoramic views of Mount Rainier, Sinclair Inlet, the shipyard, and then full western exposure towards the Olympics and up the Port Washington Narrows. These are considered condos, but they live like townhouse style, so they're going to be very vertical up and down. These are going to be on the higher end. So even though they're right off 303, right off the Warren Avenue Bridge, actually, so they're going to get a ton of traffic. These are still going to be pretty high end. They're up in like the 700s-ish. So they're going to be for probably a move-up buyer, a retired buyer, somebody who doesn't want to relocate anymore because they are brand new. They're going to wear very well. Now, if you're looking for something on the higher end, we have Garrett Custom Homes in the Skyfall community, which is just west of Chico. So remember I talk about Chico a lot in other videos. It's kind of one of my favorite places. Depending on where you're at, of course, the waterfront's ideal. Garrett Custom Homes, if you're not familiar with them, have enormous floor plans. I think their smallest one's like 2,200 square feet, and that's like the baby. They have a Shasta Double XL, which is like my favorite floor plan, and that's going to be upwards of 3,000 plus, maybe 3,600. It's enormous. All of these lots are an acre plus, so they're really big homes on really big lots, and these are going to be well into the 7 figures for a price point. So these are going to be for a higher end buyer, somebody who's looking for luxury quality. Garrett has a really good reputation for that. If you are a fan of ADUs, specifically building one on your own property, the city of Bremerton in recent years authorized blanket approval for 7 floor plans of ADUs within the city limits of Bremerton. So this is not for unincorporated Kitsap County. Like, you could still put an ADU on your property. You would just have to go through the full design and permit process like everybody used to. Within the city limits, though, they completely streamlined this. And the goal was to allow for higher density in this urban growth area, in these high density neighborhoods already with these teeny tiny city lots, to make them even more dense and provide more housing for people. And on these teeny tiny city lots, 0.1 acres, you can have a single family residence and 2 ADUs, 2 ADUs. So that's 3 living units on your property. That's just blanket authorized via the city of Bremerton. Okay, so we talked about Quincy Square. We talked about some of the events coming up, the Bremerton Author Fest, the Bremerton Beer Garden Festival, and that's just scratching the surface. There's tons of other stuff going on. So moving to the end of this summer, we have Bremerton Blackberry Festival, which happens on Labor Day weekend every year. And Labor Day is actually kind of late this year. The first Monday in September is the 7th. So we have a later Labor Day, which means school is actually starting before Labor Day this year. In our area, usually it's the Wednesday after Labor Day. So Labor Day weekend here and the Blackberry Festival kind of mark the unofficial close to summer, because obviously everyone's going back to school. The real estate market kind of slows down for a few weeks until about mid-October, where it picks back up again. Everyone is focused on different things after that. And then of course we come back around to Memorial Day, which is kind of the unofficial open of summer. It's the first big camping weekend of the year. So we get a lot of people who are out of town camping. So if you're a camper and you love doing that stuff, you're going to want to see if there's any sites even available still, because like RV sites and campsites and stuff, they fill up like a year in advance sometimes. So if you're coming to our area and you haven't checked that out yet, please do. There are several fabulous campsites around the Hood Canal and the Olympic Peninsula. Okay, so now you kind of sort of know what to do this summer. You kind of sort of know where the events are going to be, what's going to be happening. Take it upon yourself to research stuff that you really love, because I know I just mentioned a couple of things like sports and beer and authors. There is so much more going on every weekend. There's night markets, there's farmers markets, there's the wine festival, there's the Taste of Kitsap. There's all kinds of stuff going on this summer that is going to make downtown sounds super fun and super exciting. So if you're planning on moving to Bremerton or anywhere in Kitsap County in 2026, and you need help finding the right place to land, use the link in the description, give me a call, send me an email, send me a text message. I would love to help and answer any questions you might have about our area, about relocating here. Don't forget to pop into the description and download my relocation guide. We can compare all options, what's truly available, and how your day-to-day might feel. I'm Cassandra Lopez. I help buyers and sellers all over Bremerton and Kitsap County, Silverdale, Poulsbo, Seabeth, Port Orchard, Hansville, Kingston, Indianola, Olalla, Manchester, all of these areas all over the county. So if you tell me what your goals are, I can tell you what the right move is. See you on the channel.